Okay, now that you know what the CAPM is and you just learned what the CML is, let's take a look at the actual graphical representation of the CAPM model. So this is the formula which I'll touch upon a bit later. Let's take a look at the graph. If you were to derive the CAPM model, you would arrive at something called SML, which is your security market line. And SML is this line right here. Let's take a look at this graph. This is one of the most important graphs you're going to see in finance, and you have to understand it. So you know that in the CML, if I'm just going to draw a small version of it here, is we had standard deviation on the x-axis and the expected return on the y-axis. And it looked something like this, with RF still here, and this line was tangent to the efficient frontier. This is the CML. Please don't confuse the CML with the SML. I know it sounds so similar and it looks the same, but there's one crucial difference. In this case, you can see that we're plotting the returns against the standard deviation or total risk, right? The SML, according to the CAPM model, remember, we're only concerned with market risk, right? And how do we measure market risk? We measure it through beta. So on your x-axis, it's going to be a measure of beta, or the measure of market risk. And y-axis stays the same, it's still your expected return. Also, the formulas are a bit different. You still have your risk-free rate plus the risk premium, but the measure of risk premium is different. The CML was concerned with actual efficient portfolios. The SML and the CAPM model is concerned with a specific security, right? So we're not looking at an efficient portfolio, we're looking at a security. Let's take a look at the SML. So you can see that on the x-axis it's your beta. This is your SML, and like I said, on the y-axis it's always going to be the risk-free rate because it has total risk of 0. So now, why is it, because now it's beta, why is it still at 0? Well, because the measure of the risk-free measure to the market is still going to be 0. There's no risk associated with the risk-free investment, right? Now that we got this, let's plot the market portfolio. And this is the most single important portfolio you're going to plot on the line. And you have to remember this. So what do you know about the market portfolio? This is your market portfolio. What do you know about it? It's, like I said previously, right? A market portfolio has a beta of 1. And you have to remember this. Right? And the return, this is going to be return on the market right here. So it has beta of 1, and the return on the market is going to be associated with that wherever it's plotted. So to use this SML or the CAPM model, you have to know what the return on the market is. And this is where the formula comes in. Let's take a look at the formula. You have your risk-free rate, which is always going to be there because remember the formula is risk-free plus the risk premium. This is your risk-free rate, and this whole thing right here is your risk premium. Let's take a look. This is your beta, and this is the beta that's associated with the security or investment you're looking at. So this beta is always going to be specific to every single stock. In the bracket, you have RM minus RF. So RM, whichever the return is on the market, minus the risk-free rate. You know what the formula is. Your expected return equals risk-free plus beta times RM minus RF. There are a couple of things you absolutely have to know about this formula. This bracket right here, RM minus RF, is called the market risk premium. So this is your market risk premium. And what this tells you is how much more is the market giving you by taking on the extra risk. The market portfolio is not risk-free at all. It has extra risk on top of the risk-free, right? So the difference between the return on the market and return on the risk-free investment is called the market risk premium. So what premium are you receiving by investing in a market portfolio rather than a risk-free investment, right? In a question, the reason why I'm telling you this is in a question, they can either give you RM and RF, or they can give you the market risk premium. Read the question carefully to make sure you actually know which one they gave you, because if you make a mistake and you plug in a wrong number into this equation, you're going to get the wrong return. You don't want to do that. So make sure you understand, are they giving you the market risk premium, which is already the difference between RM minus RF? They already gave you the actual bracket. Or are they giving you RM and RF separately? The other thing you have to know is if you're going to take beta times the market risk premium, right? So if you do beta times RM minus RF, you actually arrive at your total risk premium. And this goes hand in hand to what I just showed you before, and I'm going to write it out again, that your risk is made up of your return is made up of two things. Your RF plus the risk premium, right? Your RF plus the risk premium. In this case, the risk premium is going to be the whole thing, beta times RF and minus RF, RM minus RF. If you're looking at every single stock separately, what is the only one thing in the formula that's going to change with every single stock? Well, let's take a look. Does RF change? RF is determined by the market. It's determined by Bank of Canada. So RF, no matter if you're holding the stock of Google or RIM, RF is going to be the same for all stocks, right? It's the same risk-free rate. It's not going to change. Let's take a look at RM. The market return, again, you're using one market portfolio. You're using that as a proxy. So the market portfolio, the return on the market is not going to change either. So these things, no matter what kind of stock you're looking at, are not going to change. So the only thing that is specific to every single stock is the measure of market risk, which is your beta. So this beta is going to be different for every single stock. The other things, unless something in the economy changes, are not going to change. But beta is going to be different for every single stock. It can be aggressive or it can be defensive. So this is what you have to watch out for. Remember, they can either give you market risk premium or they can tell you the actual risk premium, which makes sense because it's RF plus the risk premium. And just remember that beta is specific to every single investment.